Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Squat Cobbler Special Squat on the Issues edition. I am Kelly at KELLYTHUL on Twitter and Instagram.
And I am Dr. Mike at Official Pagan on everything. And now would be a good time to let you guys know to like and subscribe. Because as you know from our Squat on the Issues episodes, you're going to get mad and forget to do it later.
That's right, because it's powerful, powerful stuff.
It is. And I mean, you know, we just converse about the most thought-provoking, deep well topics that you can possibly imagine. And sometimes it divides people. Sometimes it makes people look inside themselves and become confused by the things they see. It makes you question who you are as a person. So what's our first topic today, sir?
Breast armor. So allow me to expand.
Do you need to, though?
Really, you know, I know it's.
Let's all take a moment and picture what that means to you.
Yeah. And then, for clarification, on a recent episode of The Mandalorian, they've introduced more Mandalorians, and actually, they're starting to introduce Mandalorians from the Clone Wars, which is really cool to have these animated characters coming forward. And Bo-Katan, who was a major character in Clone Wars, is now in the live action thing. And the new Mandalorians that showed up, 2 were female and 1 was male. And, of course, the main character Mandalorian's male. And the female Mandalorian's chest armor is different than it reflects the female form a little bit. And this is consistent with Clone Wars. That's how it was in Clone Wars. And I was quite surprised. I didn't really... I mean, all I thought was, wow, they just nailed the Clone Wars depiction of this character. And then I started kind of picking up on Twitter some people who were quite put out by the fact that the female Mandalorian armor differed from the male Mandalorian armor, and they were just like, "Oh, come on! I can't believe this!" And I wasn't there. I didn't understand the concern. And so I thought it'd be a good Squat on the Issues topic to find out, one, did it concern you, Mike? And if so, why? And if it didn't concern you, maybe we can explore that a little bit further as well. But I don't know what your first thoughts were on this.
So just to recap where we're at right now, basically what Kelly is saying is that all you women complaining about that should shut up and go make him a sandwich.
Yeah, so I'm going to refine that a little bit, which is to say, a very powerful female character has been introduced into the universe, and why are you getting hung up on what she's wearing versus her general awesomeness? But that's just me. And she doesn't need to make me a sandwich at all.
There you go. So just to refine
she would
that,
kick my butt.
As long as you're wearing sexy clothes, you don't have to make Kelly a sandwich. No, we got it.
Yeah.
So
anyway. So let
dead on accurate. Basically,
why don't you share a little bit of your opinion so that I can offer some clarifying points to that?
I have not watched the Clone Wars. My Star Wars, and we've talked about this when I was a guest on Nurture and Support, a show that Kelly and Mel do. They did a Star Wars episode, and I was on there, and my Star Wars knowledge is not quite as deep as theirs, in the sense that mine is mostly limited to a handful of the video games and the core feature films, and now The Mandalorian. Just for a quick rundown, 3 best Star Wars movies: Phantom Menace, Holiday Special, Ewoks Battle for Endor. 3 best Star Wars movies. Facts. Kelly will fight you the same way he will fight Chuck Garrick if you get in his way, and he will steal your woman. And unless she's wearing something sexy, she's in the kitchen where she belongs. Those are Kelly's words.
Are they? Are they really?
I'm pretty sure that's exactly
They
what he
don't
said.
feel like my words at all.
Quoting. For a second, I was like, "Am I Kelly?"
Yeah. Here's a tip for you. No, no, you're not.
I have not watched Clone Wars. I'm familiar in a broad sense of it because I know a lot of people who liked it. So from that sort of vague familiarity, I understood to some degree that these were characters from Clone Wars. Couldn't tell you who they were, couldn't tell you the role that they played, but I got that this was a tie-in to Clone Wars just from the sort of peripheral knowledge of it that I have from osmosis of being around people who are into it. So I got that. I was, excited to see more Mandalorians. I did like, and it was done in a subtle way. You get more of a sense of what's going on with the Mandalorian culture as a whole just by seeing some people who are maybe a little different than the Mandalorians that we've seen up until this point. I'm going to be honest with you, at no point during watching this episode did I even notice the chest armor.
Yeah, I mean, because it's not like it's not like a Madonna-esque massive cones pointing out into space type of thing. It's a silhouette, and I lack the anatomy to fully assess the practicality or impracticality of a little more room up there. But I don't know. It seems to me like it might be a good idea. I don't know, but I didn't notice it either. Beyond, like I said, my excitement of saying they're nailing this character from the earth, and she's in Rebels a little bit too, I think. But they're nailing this character big time. I mean, it's right on the money. And it was a super cool character in the other series, and so I was just excited to have them part. And the actress, Kay Sackhoff, who played Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica, big fan, love her. And she has, this is kind of a second major badass that she's playing, and it's super cool to kind of see her back in something and her playing a cool character, and it's just dead on. So. But yeah, I didn't notice it, and I guess no one else did in the Clone Wars because now it's coming up.
Well, I wonder too. So I'm not. Not being a Clone Wars guy, I don't know how far the popularity of that stretches. So do you think it's because Mandalorian maybe has more casual fans, whereas Clone Wars was more the hardcore Star Wars fans? So is this being introduced to the more casual fans for the first time? Maybe.
I think that's a good chance. I'm very confident that the majority of the people who are expressing concern about this probably don't even know there was a Clone Wars. There's that, and so they don't really have a frame of reference there at all. But I mean, they're not breaking new ground here in the breast armor world. I guess I believe not that I'm a student, but I believe we go back, Pepper Potts, Iron Man's suit had accommodations. I think Ant-Man and Wasp, their armor or uniforms had accommodations. So for Wasp, so it's not like this is the first time it's ever been done, and it's these are. And it's not that comic
Joel
book.
Schumacher's Batman costumes had nipples.
There you go. And where was the outrage? Well, there was outrage, but I don't think it was just because, it was, I think the concept.
I think it was the overall creepiness of the costumes.
Yeah. Which, I don't, so what's the theory there? what
for the nipples?
For the nipples. What's the.
On the male and female characters.
Yeah. And what's the math? I don't get, I'm building armor and needs a nipple. I don't. I don't get it.
I just have to assume that Alfred, when he was putting those costumes together, was deeply concerned about chafing.
Wow, so that's, I guess, again, providing a little more room. I guess. I don't know.
Alfred had a lot of chafed nipple issues in his earlier days.
Yeah. But yeah, I think probably from different sources than a bat costume. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not.
You don't.
I really can't.
He's like, listen, I've climbed into more than one leather outfit in my day.
Yeah.
Nipple chafing's real.
Yeah, and so I'm looking out for you. I got your back or your front, I guess, in this case. But anyway. So it was just, I and maybe I'm just a Luddite on some of this stuff, but I don't really get the outrage, particularly because to me it's taking away from, hey, they've just introduced a character that's probably as tough and as effective as anyone else in this whole series, and who's going to likely have an interesting character arc, particularly because she's the one in line to become the Mandalore, become the leader of Mandalore, because her sister Sabine, who was kind of sort of Obi-Wan Kenobi squeeze, she got killed by Darth Maul. Oh, by the way, folks, spoilers. Sorry, it's kind of laying a bunch
so
of
much for the first couple seasons of Clone Wars.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, sorry about that. So she's a major character, and to get kind of hung up on accurate to previous depictions costuming, that's not gratuitous in my opinion. They're kind of missing the boat. I mean, and Cara Dune earlier, and we haven't seen her much this season, but I mean, Mandalorian's not short on strong female characters, which is somewhat of a departure from the core Star Wars thing, is to kind of really have some of these folks up front and center and equal. So, like I said, I just don't get it.
Yeah, I didn't see what the outrage was about, but to be honest, I feel like this season of The Mandalorian is, and maybe it's just because the first season caught everybody by surprise. There was a lot of people who weren't totally in love with the most current trilogy of films and weren't really sure where the series was going to go, and then the Solo movie gave them their first at least dollar for dollar economic failure of the Star Wars franchise. So I think there was maybe some unsure footing, and then first season of The Mandalorian, I think it's fair to say, went above and beyond anybody's expectations. So maybe people are just have such a microscopic focus on season 2 looking for issues. But I've seen some strange concerns about different things in this season online. Not just the armor choices, but of course, Baby Yoda snacking on some eggs. Now, yep. Kelly is a staunch conservative.
I let you run. I let you run with a lot of this stuff. I just kind of laugh it up. But I'm going to ask as a favor in the future, if you're going to spin a yarn, let's keep. Let's leave that one off the table and maybe come up with something else if you don't mind.
Sure. For this though, you should just censor it out, and really badly. Put something just like static or something over me saying that.
Yep, yes, I think I will.
But I've seen people draw comparisons, and I think it was meant to be like funny, and Baby Yoda just being crazy and mischievous, and boy, his eating things like eggs is gonna maybe lead to trouble later in the episode, and that's all I took it as. Then I saw Facebook the next day, and I saw a lot of people drawing comparisons to pro-choice, pro-life issues, which, what the hell? Yeah. Like, I think that is just way, way off the radar of, I can't speak for other people, but I'm certain not what anybody making that was thinking at the time, particularly Disney. I don't think they were going into that like, this is the way we weighed in this issue. A puppet. Yep. And then, of course, other people saying that it vilifies Baby Yoda and maybe seeing a much darker meaning behind it. What was your take on that?
So I actually physically said stop a few times when watching it. I really wanted Baby Yoda to stop eating those eggs. I didn't think it was right. But I don't think it comes from a demonic intent. Although there are people who are out there who are kind of going, well, you remember when he force choked Cara Dune? It's like he's got dark side energy going on. I was like, no, the dude eats. I mean, if you just watch he's an eater. He likes his food. And it's a little tough to kind of know because I believe they say he's like, it's either 30 or 50 years old is what
50, I believe, is what they said in the first episode.
Yeah, and so if that's 50 and Yoda was 900, I'm trying to do the math to figure out. But
I was going to say, you're getting into math now. I'm gone.
It makes him close to a 5-year-old, in my opinion. So it's a 5-6-year-old, I think, if you assume a linear age progression. There are those arguing it's an S-shaped curve, but I don't know. But so he's 5 or 6. And so a 5 or 6-year-old, if there's candy on the table, it's gone. So right. I think... those are candy to him. So yeah, I didn't get additional messaging on significant issues across the country, or a vilification of Baby Yoda. I really, really wanted him to stop, and I really felt the last one, was that extra kick in the gut. It's like, how did he manage to do that? But I was just feeling for Frog Lady because this is. And then, they're also arguing that he's extinguishing an entire species.
I saw that too. People saying that it was a metaphor for the imperialist genocide of indigenous peoples.
Yeah. Or it's not. I mean, they did Frog Lady, that is actually how she's credited in all the material and action figures and such right now as Frog Lady. She... said this is the last of my line, which I assume meant more her family tree versus my species. But even then, I don't think that was Yoda's intent. I mean, Baby Yoda's intent or the child's intent. I'm taking these frog people out. I've had it with them. So, and I don't think he was eating metaphorically. I think he was eating physically.
I love that. He wasn't eating metaphorically.
Nope. I do not believe so. So what have you thought about the second season overall?
I'm not disappointed so far.
Yeah, I've only... So we talked a little bit before the show, but it wasn't this most current episode, but the one before it, I felt it was... It didn't have the same amount of plot motion that most of the other episodes had. And so I originally was kind of like, I'm pretty cool to this episode. But then I went back and thought about season 1, and it was one where it was front-loaded with a bunch of super strong episodes. It finished with a couple of strong episodes. And then there were some in the middle that weren't bad, but they just kind of paled in comparison to other episodes of the season. They weren't, as strong, and they weren't. Your expectations just got higher around. Lots of stuff's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of stuff moving along, and it was just less. So I think, they hit in season 1. Season 1 wasn't pitch perfect, and there were a couple moments that were, that it just kind of dragged on a little bit. It drags maybe a little bit strong, but it just didn't have the pacing that the killer episodes do. So I've enjoyed it.
There's definitely a couple episodes that have more that anthology feel, like the Adventure of the Week style, rather than necessarily propelling the overall story.
Yeah, and I was just hoping against hope. Again, I guess spoiler, folks, in terms of if you're not caught up to Mandalorian, we're kind of telling you a lot of stuff. But I had a desire that
just picturing your face when I said that. That's why you have to leave that in. Your reaction was amazing. Just cut out what I said, but you have to leave the visual.
Okay, we can do that. I gotta have a lot of editing on this one.
I didn't mean it to be that way,
but
worth it. When you see your face, you'll get it.
Okay. I was hoping that Baby Yoda was protecting the eggs, that he was swallowing them to somehow. Yes, because he wasn't chewing. This was just,
it's true. He was just swallowing them.
So I thought maybe he had a bigger. Well, they gotta I got to take care of these because I foresee problems coming ahead. But no, it doesn't appear that way. and I don't.
One of the people I was watching with did say, "Do you think he's like incubating the eggs?"
That's what I was hoping for, but I don't.
And I was like, "No, I don't think so. He's eating them."
Yeah, because it appears to be eating. So we'll see. But yeah, no. So I think it's a great. It's still a great show. Really, really kind of enjoy it. So we'll move on to kind of the other outrage of the week that has me scratching my head, which is close friend of the show, Harry Styles, appeared in on a Vogue cover recently in a dress, and you made a really good point because you hadn't seen much on this, Mike.
No,
is that you brought the cover up and you couldn't even 100% from the cover know that was a dress because you were talking about. What were your thoughts on the cover?
so I saw a number of posts about somebody in a dress, so I knew this was a thing, but I didn't know who it was, what the context was. I didn't know it was our close personal friend Harry Styles. Yep. And obviously, we're day One Direction supporters here, so not like Hanson.
No, totally.
So
apples and oranges.
We chose sides.
Yep.
So obviously, great friends with him. But when I pulled up the picture, honestly, it just looks like a really ugly shirt because it's cropped. It's cropped at his waist. So you just kind of see the pattern of it. I guess you can't really see that that's a dress. I mean, knowing that it's a dress, sure. If I didn't know that, though, that's a terrible shirt. That's all that is.
Yeah, and so again, so my knowledge of men in dresses is about as deep as my knowledge of breast armor. But bear with me. It seems to me.
I have a story about Kelly in dress.
It seems to me that the Mothers of Invention, by the way, shouldn't be in dress. I mean, this has nothing to do with the issues people have. It's just they're a kind of a scary looking lot. The original Mothers of Invention they were some grim looking dudes, and putting them in dresses was unpleasant to me, but didn't cause was maybe a little bit of shock. Original Alice Cooper group, not a stranger to dresses. So like David Bowie, not a stranger to a dress. Admiral or Captain Picard wore a dress, So I don't quite understand.
On duty?
Yes, that was the dress, the dress uniform. I don't know if they had like a pun going there or not, but Next Generation, when they were wearing their formal attire, old Jean-Luc was rocking a dress. So, I mean, yeah, it was a dress as far as I'm concerned. It was a skirt.
So Kelly just said Professor X is not a real man.
I don't believe I said that. There's lots of things I haven't said on the show that have been lots of acts. So just so we'll have.
You guys won't hear that, but look at Kelly's reaction. It was good.
It was painful. So now I'm basically panicked. I'm waiting for I got him pretty good there. I wonder if I could amp it up a little bit. So we don't need that. But yeah, so there seem to be some people really riled up about it, and we're kind of in a mode where we want to get riled up about something all the time.
Yeah,
breast armor, men in dresses. I don't know. But if I understand the rationale coming from the people who are deeply concerned about this, is that it's an attempt to redefine masculinity, and to say this is what masculine is. And I mean, I'm sure you were profoundly affected when you finally did see the cover. Started to question.
My genitals fell off. when I
that
when you explained to me that that was a dress and not just an ugly shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get the concern. I can get maybe it's not something somebody thinks looks great, but I don't know. I don't know why you get worked up about it, but
Seems odd. So first off, let me ask you: have you ever worn a dress?
um,
You've already thought way
yes,
too long about this, so of
yes.
course it's
So
yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
I know it's
there's
yes.
no no that
Yeah,
starts with huh.
yeah. I mean, it's a boring story, and so
Go on.
but no, but it yes. So you
No. We need to hear the story now.
oh
You've
this
already
is
alluded to the fact that there is a story.
yeah oh but it was okay but yeah but I mean this is be painfully boring for everyone, but okay. You asked for this thrilling story, you'll get this thrilling story. Remember, I'm not bringing it up because I think it would be interesting. I'm going to bring it up because he's just going to be a pain in the butt if I don't tell the story now. So, a very young, I would guess, 8-year-old Kelly, bunch of kids in the neighborhood, and we thought, hey, it'd be really cool to try and fool our parents into thinking one of us was a new girl who moved into the area. And I grew up. Boy, this is a painful story. I grew up in a largely Mennonite community, and some of our best friends growing up were some folks that were Mennonite that were kind of just behind our house, and so they kind of had the treasure trove of Mennonite finery, which include so Mennonite are like hip Amish. They're they can use electricity and do all that stuff, but still pretty conservative, very religious, and so the very plain to the ankle black dress and bonnet is in play on a regular basis. The exact kind of outfit you need.
You meant with them, not with you, right?
Right, with them.
For a second, I was just like, wait, what?
Yeah, no, we were the Roman Catholic.
Like I realized I look great, so
no.
That's been a staple of my wardrobe.
Nope. No. So, but it would be effective if you wanted to. Because you got the big bonnet that can kind of obscure the face, and basically a formless sack to kind of do that. So we tried to, and I don't really know how I drew the short straw in this one, but I was the one. So then we kind of went up to the parents, snickering, thinking we were fooling. Obviously, 8-year-old thinking's not smart. No one was fooled. Easily busted. I'm in a dress. And I ran away. So, not from home, just away from the embarrassment of our failed trick. So, like I said, it really hurt to tell a story because I know it sucks. It's not a great story, but Mike made me.
I have so many questions. So, first off, and this is more of an observation, and I don't know why I thought this. When you said you were all, standing around looking for something to do the one day, for some reason I was like, instead of a lemonade stand, they did a little kid drag review for money.
That's right. It was like Undercover Boss, I think. We were ahead of our time.
And then, of course, as you're telling the story, I'm like, why was Kelly the one chosen?
That's a great, because I wasn't, and this is, it's a long time ago. I do not recall raising my hand by kind of going like, so who, I think I just fit the dress the best. So, I don't know so, I don't know. It pains me that I shared that story. I just want to personally apologize to the universe that story had to be told because it's not much of one. So what will become a much more interesting tale, and we'll only ask you to talk about the first 7 times that you've been in a dress. But just a couple. So your first, because I don't really even need to ask. If
No, I've never been in a dress, Kelly, because I'm a man.
that's right. Stop redefining my masculinity.
Yeah, liberal.
Yeah.
No. So pretty young, I think. Maybe a little bit younger than you, maybe like 7. So I had pierced ears at a pretty young age. So, but that wasn't like anything non-masculine other than the fact that I had both of my ears pierced. And since I was probably about 12, painted my toenails to the degree that the tiny humans at one point because normally they're just black. At one point I posted this on social media. I was like, hey, I'm thinking about changing my toenail color. What do you guys think I should do? Like, to kind of get a consensus. And then our friend Pat Briggs from Psychotica immediately just overruled everybody and told me what it was going to be. So I went with that color. He was right. It was good. So I went with that color, and the tiny humans, because they'd only known my toenails as being black, apparently thought my toenails were black. That was just the color that they were. So when they saw them, they're like, what happened to your feet? And I was like, oh, I changed the color of the nail polish. It's like, you wear nail polish? This was all incredible news to them. So they were like reeling while I was offended that they had apparently for years just believed my toenails were black. So, but there's pictures, and I've joked about it before. There's pictures of me in early Halloweens, in a dress with some sort of like weird makeup and stuff like that. And the first couple are like Halloween when I'm 7, Halloween when I'm 8. Then there's one that's like I'm older, maybe 12, 13, probably around the Marilyn Manson tour time. And it's definitely summer. And I'm by a pool with a ball gown on and boots. So that was a thing for a while, I guess. Not in a long time.
I think you need to clarify. I don't think it was a thing. I mean, I think you chose. I'm pretty confident the summer ball gown boot combo was not like on fire during it.
Oh, no. I didn't mean a thing for the general public. I meant a thing for me.
Okay, yeah, good.
Yeah. Something that I was just apparently a choice for a period of time that was happening. And then not for a really long time until I was on our friend Dylan's show, where I dressed as a nun.
Yep.
On Dylan's show. He did a show about gender, and I was on there along with our friend Bronwyn, and she dressed as, was she Doctor Who?
I
believe it was Doctor Who, and I can't remember which doctor. And I was a nun. And what was funny about my costume was that was a real nun's habit, because I was pricing out the costume nun habits, which cost more than the real thing. So the adult costume, like nun costumes, were like $40, $50. An actual nun's habit from like a religious supplier was like $30 or something like that. So the joke was cheaper if I wore a real nun's outfit.
Well, fishnet is expensive. So the Halloween nun outfit, it's going to carry that extra load. So.
So it was never, I'm sure my conservative Christian dad probably wasn't super thrilled about some of it, but yeah, it was never too big a deal, I guess. My friends never seemed bothered by it, so it was never anything that seemed to be an issue with anybody who was my age. I'll put it that way. But yeah, I was unaware that this had happened. And what's more bizarre to me is I feel like I'm not young. I'm 38 years old. And if I really didn't get that much of a hard time from people when I was a kid, why are we talking about this now? Like, why are people outraged by this now?
I don't
get me wrong. I'm sure I got a few comments. But if you really wanted to make people angry around here, you wore a Dallas Cowboys jacket, which I did. starter jackets, the company starter. Those were a big thing when I was a kid.
Hmm.
So every year, every kid would get like their favorite team, like the starter jackets. And of course, being in Philadelphia, the rival team of Philadelphia was Dallas Cowboys. I would get a Dallas Cowboys starter jacket. It would make my father angry, first off, as a big football guy, because he knew that I never watched it. I didn't care. It was literally just for the reactions from people. Didn't care at all. We would be walking in public places, like through a mall or something like that. Grown men would scream at me, start cursing at me, throw things at me, to where my dad was nearly getting into fist fights defending something that he knew was just me messing with people. It was me trolling people at 12 years old. So,
Yeah, and because we all know, when it comes to a calm, well thought out, responsive disagreement, there's nobody better than Philadelphia fans.
right.
Any crowd in Philadelphia is the most well behaved, polite group of people you could ever run across, and so
Only good things happen here.
only good things. So, it yeah, that would Curly do it, and surprised you're still with us, but congratulations on that.
I remember going to church with my family and somebody saying something in the middle of mass to my family about it. Like, how dare you let him come in here wearing that? Because I was not only offending him at that point, but God.
That's right.
By wearing that. So, like, that got a much bigger reaction than me wearing a dress. So it's not like he was wearing a Dallas Cowboys dress.
And you didn't throw the jacket up on the crucifix or anything like that.
Yeah.
just want to make sure, because there may have been a reason. That'd be it. Okay, well, we said these things puzzled us, and so we kind of thought, it might be good to kind of talk. In retrospect, maybe it wasn't such a good idea given some of the turns this conversation has taken. But
the good news is, though, this isn't a Google Hangout, so they can't take it away.
Yeah, but I don't have to publish it. So
you just edit that one part. You got to leave your reaction. It's great.
We'll see. Okay. So I give up. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe.